Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Masters of Self University podcast. I am your host, Ellie Lee.
And I am Morley.
And today we have the one and only psycho-energetic healer and CEO of Masters of Self University. Give it up for Rachel Fiori, everybody.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Rachel, always a pleasure when you're here with us on our show, on our talk show. Today, we are talking about the new golden age of harmony. And this is something that I'm so excited to learn from you. I've learned a lot from you, but definitely got some wisdom on this. So could you, for anyone out there at home who's like, what is that? Could you talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I love this. The new golden age of harmony. We are meant to really transform out of harm. Transform out of harm. Humanity is meant to no longer be hateful, destructive, violent, aggressive, in separation. And we are meant to heal, to evolve, to raise our level of consciousness so that we can actually create what the new golden age is supposed to be, which is the new golden age of harmony. We are supposed to live in harmony, and you can't do that if you don't live in harmony with yourself. If you are unhealed, filled with traumas, struggling with old programs that need to be alchemized, you have to create harmony within yourself, harmony with life, harmony with the universe, before you can then be the light that helps to create harmony with the rest of civilization, with the rest of the world, with the rest of humanity. The new golden age of harmony is here for us to create and then experience, but it is not happening, in a passive way. It's not going to be gifted to a bunch of unconscious people who are in war and hate each other and continue to, create racism and sexism and misogyny and separation, superior, inferior. No, we are to heal and elevate ourselves so that we together can create and then live in the new golden age of harmony.
Mm. I think a lot of people kind of have this whole thing of like, well, I'm just one person. So what does it matter if that's, something that I don't feel like I can make a difference. And like what I always say to people, it's like, it always starts with one person. And like when you are healing yourself and you're loving yourself and you're going out in there in the world, it's a domino effect. And when you really put it like that, and even the way that I find myself showing up sometimes, I definitely feel so different than I did even a year ago, and you start to feel this kind of lightness about you. And then all of a sudden you're talking to someone and they're like, I needed to hear that, or you're really making me feel some type of way, like really good. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's because I am that. And now you're just feeling that from me.
Exactly.
And that's how we change the world.
That is because the world is nothing but a mirror of who we are. It is the macrocosm of the microcosm of the self, right? Because myself, I am one part of the whole. That is what oneness is. So I can be my individual self while simultaneously being in oneness with all. Whether you understand that or not, or whether you are in ignorance or not to the universal laws, the universe is the universe. We are just one part of this entire entity. So we are an individual being and oneness, expansive, universal energy all at the same time. We are both at the same time. And because of that, when we say things like, I love that you said this, Ellie, we say things like, but I'm only one person of the universe. You're the universe as well. You're one aspect of the universe. So if I change me, I elevate me, I become harmonized with the the ways of oneness, with being in oneness, being in love, being in gentle harmlessness and gentleness, being in equality. If I change me, that is a ripple effect out into the world, which is still me.
Mm.
From a young age, I always wanted to save the planet in terms of like the environment. I've got a degree in geography, and I've always been so passionate about how can we improve the planet, how can we save it, because it's definitely, it's not at its optimal performance right now. The way that we as humans, the caretakers of this earth, are treating it, it's not great. And for so long, I was lost in how am I going to do this? Am I going to go into the science side of things and look at soil? And I ended up falling into this path. And it wasn't till this last year that I realized this is how we change the planet, is by doing this work and going inwards and healing ourselves. And once we're able to be in a place of love on the inside, that will be reflected out in what we see. And what we see right now in the world is just a reflection of how much turmoil, how much disharm there is inside. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this journey and the journey of the self. And as you said, Ellie, like how it really does change the world, because as soon as we're all in a state of harmony, then of course we're going to treat the planet with the respect and the love that it deserves.
Exactly. That is exactly. And you can't not treat it with love and respect when you are that yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's a killer thing to really talk about is oneness, because I think that a lot of people have a very hard time understanding, well, what does that mean? What does it mean that you are me and I am you and that we are one? And I would love for you to speak on that, because it makes me want to cry, because we live in so much separation. We live in so much hatred for one another. We're always trying to topple each other, when in reality, like, we all come from the same thing. We are the same thing, which is love. And if we really dove within ourselves, the world could be it makes me excited. It feels like I'm going to like Disney World, just thinking about living in a world where we are embodying who we really are.
Yeah, absolutely. And oneness is such a divine, like abstract concept. That's the thing. That's why it's challenging, because you're trying to put into words what can't possibly be put into words. That's first. You have to understand that divinity itself, it's close to impossible to put that into words that we can understand. And so we do our best. Language is limiting, and we try to describe and point and give signposts and guidance in order to understand this stuff. That's why it's usually a process to get it. But oneness is the only truth that really exists. It is, we all come from the same stuff, this infinite powerful energy, that this consciousness that can manifest aspects of itself into different forms, right? So it can manifest itself, slow down its vibrational frequency, and manifest itself into a being, into matter that is a human body, or an elephant's body, or a tree, or a mountain or land. It can manifest into matter. It can manifest and express itself in its divinity as this, person or people or humanity or a species. It just manifests itself to express itself and explore what it would be like to be this kind of being. Or when you're a human, to be this color or this race, or to come from this part of the land that is on this planet Earth. Earth is just another expression of the manifested form of the universe, of the consciousness of the creator of all that is. And so we are all one when it comes to that. We are the oneness that is now manifesting as a little drop of something unique and different. And we, in our delusion, think it means we're separate. We're still one. This is just another incredible, amazing creation of Source itself experiencing itself as a man or a woman or somebody with a certain ethnicity or as grass or as a rock. And it's just, that's the oneness that we all are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, hey, this is cool. So when I'm not just in the expansiveness of a formless conscious being and the energy of all that is, the creator of all that is, I'm this for a short period of time. What's it like to be this thing, this being, this person for a short period of time?
Have you had an experience, and I'm sure you have, but where you've left your physical form and felt the oneness of everything? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
how does one get there?
By doing the work that we teach at Masters of Self University. That's the easy answer. Honestly, it's those experiences and my own journey in this work that, you know, being guided as a spiritual leader to teach this to people has been, you know, when you achieve isn't the perfect word, but when you heal enough and you achieve a certain level and you get a higher level, I've healed enough, I'm more elevated, I'm more conscious, and then you have these mystical, magical experiences. It's almost like, there you go, keep going.
Right.
Like there, you got to experience that part. But remember, you're here to experience being human, right? So here's the mistake we often make. I want to achieve that. You already are that. Really take that in. You already are that. And that part of you is saying, I'm going to experience humanness. And that's like, oh, I just want to be that. Well, but you already are that. So let's take that truth of what we really are, that expansive, magical, mystical, infinite creator being that we are, and bring that into now our human experience. Because where we screw up as humans is we separate that. Like that's different, separate from me. Instead of, oh, that is what I am. That's the truth of what I am. I'm going to allow the truth of what I am to flow through my humanness and guide my human experience while I'm here on earth. And when we can do that, it is impossible to do harmful things and live out of harmony with all things. It's impossible when you're that to destroy Mother Earth and torture animals and murder. It's impossible to bring harm. You can only bring harmony. That is the truth of who you are. You just have to allow it to flow through you and express itself through the humanness that you are, instead of live in separation. When you live in oneness, you cannot bring harm to anybody or anyone or yourself. That includes animals and nature and plants. And you can't. It's not the truth of you. You literally can't.
Yeah. And so may I, like, if I'm getting this right, like the ego is there to make sure we understand that we're separate, which has a role. Is there a space for the ego in the golden age of harmony?
That's a good question. So let's first understand that the ego is there to create the illusion of separation, right? So, and everybody listening, the ego is there to create an illusion of separation that is there for a reason. Because if we just immediately enter into the human experience, knowing I'm this infinite, expansive, magnificent, divine creator being, then the human experience would be pretty boring and mundane and not so fun. It just wouldn't be what it was meant to be. Having a human experience is for our soul to expand and grow even more based on the quote unquote lessons. This lessons is just the same meaning, the same word. It's synonymous with experience for us humans. Does this make sense? So it's just we're here to experience the things that we're here to experience in human form in order for our soul to grow and expand in beautiful ways even more. If you experience what it means to be hateful, what does that feel like? What does that look like? What is that experience? Whether you're receiving on the receiving end of hate or whether you're dishing out the hate. What does that feel like? What is that experience? And you're meant to learn and grow from that to say, wow, like this is awful. I don't want to be this anymore. And so I can then come home and come back to my true self by learning the lessons of growth, right? Lessons of growth. If I'm hateful, that causes harm. That's disharmony. And then I can bring that, I can learn from that, and I can come back into harmony. And now I'm focused on creating harmony because I've experienced what it means to be disharmonized with the divinity that I am.
You spoke in the live recently of star seeds, and I really got caught up in that because I think for me it was like I wanted to escape Earth, and I wanted to fantasize about this idea that I was from somewhere else, that I'm not from here, that I'm just here for like this moment of time or whatever it is. And it really created this separation from the human experience. And I was getting caught up in a lot of other dimensional things that had nothing to do with being a human being on Earth. And so when I realized like the ego will come in and try to really get in all the crevices. And when I released that, it was this freedom of, I don't need to know anything than what I need to know in this moment as this being right now. And it really grounds you. And I think a lot of people don't really understand the power of grounding, because it is when you ground here that you realize, oh, I'm here to have this experience, not some other dimensional star seed, whatever mission thing. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's a thing. And it doesn't mean that stuff doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean it isn't real. And those things are beautiful and wonderful, but people get lost in it. You said the word grounding, and people say, oh, I ground. Make sure you ground. Make sure you ground. If you're trying to be on another planet while you're on Earth, you're not fucking grounded.
Right.
Let's grow up and wake up a little bit here. You're not at all. Are you grounded into Earth, into this Earth experience? You are. A lot of people talk about, we don't feel like I'm home. This isn't home. This is your fucking home. In this lifetime, this is your home. Oh, I think we come from other. Source doesn't live on Earth. Source created Earth. Your home is the formless entity that is the consciousness and creator being of all things that it creates. To know nobody's home and yet you're home. You see it? Like, we are here in this lifetime in a human form to have a human experience on Earth. This is home. If you live in your house or your apartment right now, in whatever city or state or country or part of that's home. And it's temporary. You move, you're now home again. Because now this is your home. You leave, you go to a different country, you move to a different state, a different city. You just buy a new house. That's now home. Everything in form is temporary. So while you're here, this is home. Embrace it, or boy, are you going to suffer. You're going to suffer so much worse. Because no, I'm really an Octorian, and I'm a starseed, and I'm an indigo, and I'm a this, and I'm a, shut the fuck up. You're a fucking human. And it doesn't mean those things are lies or that they don't exist. They are beautiful and they are wonderful and they're all real, all of them. But while you're here, we are so resistant and we create separation from our humanness, and we don't even realize we're doing it by saying, I'm something else, I'm a this. It doesn't matter if you're an incarnated angel. It doesn't matter. Good for you. And it might be very real and very true. Those exist. They're real. There are absolutely incarnated angels on this planet. Except that guess what? They're incarnated into a goddamn human right now, so you're human. Embrace this present moment, this experience. This human experience is for you. It is for your soul. It is for you to expand, for you to learn, for you to grow. Embrace the fact that you are a divine divine soul having this human experience right now in this moment, and this is home for now.
Mm. Mm. So
Yeah.
beautiful. I would love if you could touch upon, because I know that you've known for quite a minute that a lot of things were going to unfold in humanity. And it took a lot of us, a little bit to wake up and be like, oh, wait, what's going on? So could you talk about kind of that process and what it's like now to see what's happening?
Yeah, I think, well, so it's very interesting. It's fascinating what's happening. This huge global transformation. All the ick and the ugly and the darkness has to come up to the surface. So it's a very ugly experience, so to speak, as well as being a beautiful experience. A lot of people, it's, what's your perspective on things? Like, be careful what you choose, the type of perspective you choose to have. The darkness needs to come up in order to be alchemized, in order to transform, in order for the light to transform it. We have to be divinely responsible. It's the first universal way of oneness is the way of responsibility. Out of 20 universal ways of oneness, that's number one, is the way of responsibility. We have to be responsible enough to see our darkness, what we have created as humans. We have to see it. We have to own it. We take responsibility for it. And only then can we alchemize it. Can we transform it with the light that we are, right? So it's a combination of, well, this is really uncomfortable. Look at what's coming to the surface here. Look at the crazy, the darkness that's coming up. And it's also simultaneously an experience of, oh my God, finally. Like, I've waited so long for this. I've waited so long for this. For everybody to just start to buckle down and realize it's time to change. It is time to elevate. It is time to heal. It's time to start loving and embracing each other instead of hating each other. It's time to let all of these programs of separation be dissolved away so that we can actually live in harmony with one another and the planet. And we can then experience the miracle that life is instead of just the pain and suffering and treachery of it. You get to experience the miracle of life every moment. You get to experience something mystical and magical if you're awakened enough and healed enough to experience it. If you're closed off because of all of the separation and the hate and the whatever, you don't get to experience those things, right? And that's when we seek for, oh, but I'm really a starseed and I'm from another planet and I don't belong here and that's why I feel, you're unhealed. Elevate your level of consciousness and you will realize what the miracle of this short time that we have on earth really is. It is a beautiful, incredible, and rare experience to have as a soul being. And so embrace it while you're here, because you can't experience the miracles if you don't go into the darkness and transform, alchemize the darkness into light.
And so once we alchemize the darkness, is this the golden age of harmony that you speak of? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And are we there yet, or how far
No.
away are we? No.
Not quite, but it's a process. It isn't going to wake up tomorrow and we're there. It is a process of, there's a 20-year ascension period that Earth and everything on Earth is going through. And that's that big shift, that everybody talked about back in 2012. So from 2012, our timeline from 2012 to 2032 is the ascension of Earth from third dimensional Earth to fifth dimensional Earth. And we are currently a fourth dimensional Earth. So it is a process of elevating and ascending the vibrational frequency that the planet itself vibrates at. What is its resonance, right? So it goes from, at 2012, it started to shift. It's time to start to get out of third dimensional frequency because it's just negative and harmful and filled with extreme duality, extreme polarities that causes us to just fight and hate each other. And so that elevates. And what that does when that elevates, when Earth's vibrational frequency elevates, it shakes everything up that is no longer a vibrational match. It's no longer a vibrational match. So everything that is lower, shame, hate, all these things that are lower frequencies that people carry within themselves, it's being shaken up. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And then all that comes to the surface. And then it's up to us. We see that garbage, all that hateful crap that we carry. We see it coming to the surface. And then we are supposed to alchemize it. And then Earth continues to ascend. And we're currently in the fourth dimensional. And she's just a process of continuing to go higher. And the more she goes higher, the people and the things, our choices, what we create on this planet while we're here that are not resonant with fourth dimensional vibrational frequencies, that's going to come up. And it's going to come up in the form of war, for example. It's going to come up. It's going to shake all the hate, all the control, all the brainwashing, all the everything. The racism, the sexism, all of it, the abuse, all of it. It's all going to shake it and bring it up to the surface because Earth is higher. And as she continues to go higher, anything that are the lower frequencies, the lowest frequencies have no choice but to come to the surface to be seen. And then we can all see it for what it is and alchemize it. So it's a global process. It is an individual process. It's the process of the microcosm as well as the macrocosm, and it's all happening at one time. Wow.
Yeah. Where did you first learn about all this? Is this just from tapping into yourself and feeling the energy of the world, and or getting downloads from, spirit guides and other dimensions, or how do you figure all this stuff out?
Yeah, it's the downloads that I get. It's the tapping into my higher self. It was the process of healing and elevating myself to a high enough level where my higher soul just teaches and talks through me, and connecting to others, higher souls and other beings. So it's a combination of all of that stuff all at one time. I can I'm directly connected into the universe. It's one of my psychic gifts. I'm just connected. And then I'm downloaded with things, and I channel things based on being fully connected in oneness. I specifically in this lifetime, my soul knew that I had to come in and master the ways of oneness in order to then teach that to the world. And in mastering those ways, throughout my lifetime, all the lessons and the challenges I had to go through to master the ways of oneness, the universal ways of oneness, it was so that I could become the ways of oneness and then teach those ways, right? So to become the ways of oneness, to be in authenticity with it, you have to become the ways. And when you become the ways, you are living in oneness. That means oneness with divinity, with the universe. So that's where the teachings come from. They come from a book. That's not how I work. I don't like, and it's great that everybody has them, and I channel my own, like I have my own, but that's where it comes from. And that's where that's what guides me to teach and how to heal and all of that stuff. So it comes from the universe itself by being in oneness with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard for me to grasp because I'm clearly not at oneness yet, but I hope one day I can have the same experiences. Now, you also mentioned in our program that the chakra system has upgraded. Do you want to touch on that real quick?
It has, absolutely. So without doing a deep dive into our new chakra system, I just want to mention that everybody should be aware, like our chakra system has completely upgraded. It is not the same chakra system you had as third dimensional beings. You can't have the same system. You can't. It's not possible. That system was meant to live in a third dimensional earth. So you had a third dimensional chakra system. Like your heart chakra is not green. The colors have all changed. There are 8 in-body chakras. There's 15 main chakras, and those chakras have come in over the years, starting from 2012. Right when Earth started to ascend, then our chakra systems also started to change. Okay, and there are a lot of people in the world that know this already. This isn't new, but I'm going to keep it super simple for those who haven't heard it before, just in case. And when our chakra systems start to upgrade and we have new chakras coming in, the colors are very different because they evolve. They vibrate at a higher frequency. So even the colors change, right? Like I mentioned, your heart chakra is no longer green. That was a third dimensional, heart chakra. It is now just pure brilliant white. Pure brilliant white. And it's, if we still function and think about our chakras in the old way, we're actually then creating third dimensional energies to go through our bodies. We don't want that. We actually are clogging up our chakras sometimes without even realizing it, because we're not on board yet with the fact that we have a fifth dimensional chakra system, no longer a third dimensional chakra system. And so when we learn a little bit more about that, and we're willing to open up to, so like all the colors are different and we have more of them now, as far as the main chakras go in your body. Because we have in between your solar plexus and your sacral chakra, for those people who know where those are located, lower abdomen and then upper abdomen, you now have a navel chakra. It's a brand new chakra is in there. So we even have more. So the point being that, even our chakra system had to change in order to manage and all of the energies at a fifth dimensional level at some point, right? Wow. It's no different than like third dimensional energy. You need third dimensional chakras to handle that energy. We're more powerful now. We are more powerful now. So our chakra system, our energy system, had to upgrade and continue to upgrade in order to hold and be able to handle the vibrational frequencies that come with being eventually a fifth dimensional planet. Again, right now we're fourth, but it's still ascending to be a fifth dimensional.
Are there any other, so we've got the golden age of harmony, which we're getting to, we've got the ascension, the earth change of vibration, we've got this new chakra system. Is there anything else that's happening that that we don't know about, or that's like changed in this process?
I mean, we are, with all of that, means that we are elevating our level of consciousness, which means we are actually becoming more loving beings. And that's where, when we have a pandemic, for example, stuff like that comes to show you what needs to be brought to the surface so that we no longer function as we once did as humanity, as human beings. So it's just it's a global transformation that we are being challenged to level up, to become more magnificent beings instead of shitty, hateful, ugly, harmful beings that we've been as humans. We have to own the fact that we've been that way, and there's no such thing as an elevated, species. Like, we'd love to say we're so elevated. There's no such thing that we are elevated species when we have nuclear weapons even in existence.
Right.
There's no such thing. We are the lowest of the low when we have weapons of mass destruction on our planet that can wipe out everyone and everything on the planet. There's no such thing that we are elevated conscious beings. Would we love to give ourselves credit for that shit? And no, we're not. Because do you know how many women have been raped and murdered just with this podcast been happening so far? No such thing that we would harm other people. We would protect people. That's what divine beings do. We love, we uplift, we protect. That's what elevated beings do. No more harming each other, right? And so that's the challenge of us coming from, individualism and greed and selfishness and conquering and domination and all this toxicity that we've learned and lived in for centuries. We are being challenged to be better. And you can't be better if you're not willing to look at the darkness inside of yourself and also on the planet and say, I want to be better than that. Show me how. Oh, there's a way of oneness, the way of humility. I want to be better. Show me how. I'm willing to learn.
Oof. For people at home, there's still a lot of, I think, people who don't understand the differences between 3, 4, and 5D. And I think that there's a lot of misinformation on it as well. Could you kind of break down those 3 dimensions?
Yeah, it's the simplest thing. Let me say this first. I think people get so caught up in that because their ego's attached to it. And they're like, I'm a fifth dimensional being. Just quit it. It's just ridiculous. I don't get into that very much, only because all it does is feed ego, to be honest, and it creates more separation. So one thing I will say, it is literally a vibrational frequency. And that means that energetic frequency it's a frequency of, play a note, a key on the piano. Earth was vibrating at a certain note. This is the easiest way to understand it. So you just hit that one note over and over and over, and Earth was vibrating in that third dimensional note, that key, right? And then human beings have that main note that they play and vibrate over and over again. And all of the personalities, what we create, the technology, all of those things we create as humans, our human experience, all vibrate and are resonant with that note. And then it's like, wow, we do a lot of destruction. We're destroying the planet and we keep playing this key. We're destroying nature. We're killing off our forests, etc. So we need to be better. So let's play a higher key. And then Earth starts to ascend, and that's the rising up, the up leveling to a higher frequency to play a higher note. That's fourth dimension. So fourth dimension is just playing a new key, a higher note, raising the vibrational frequency so that we're playing at a higher note. And at that higher note, we are more collaborative, we're more in unity, we're fair, we don't cause as much harm, we're trying to heal and make up for the centuries of destruction of animals going extinct left and right because of our selfish materialistic greed, right? It's that kind of stuff. It's like we're trying to stop that from happening. And there you have the battle of like people in fourth dimension versus people in third dimension that still want the old ways to continue. All that's the battling that's happening right now. Right. So we're playing, a lot of people have made it into and are synchronistic with that fourth dimension because they want to heal. They want to be better. They're healing themselves. They want to heal the planet. There's your fourth dimensional beings doing the work to change what we've always been for so long. Right. The new golden age of harmony, which we'll continue to create and move into over the next decade, is okay. Now we've created a tremendous amount of healing. Now we're living, walking our talk. It's not just, posting shit on social media so that we get followers. It's I'm living this. I really am in harmony with the universe. I'm in harmony with unconditional love. I embrace people and I help uplift them. We are here. As I rise, you rise, we all rise together. And you two have heard me say that a lot because I say it for our corporation at Masters of Self University. We are rising together. As one person rises, that person's responsibility is to help bring everyone else up with her. That's oneness. The new golden age of harmony is an age that we're moving into oneness, right? That's the fifth dimensional frequency that people will eventually be able to reach. Fourth dimensional frequency is a representation of healing, transformation, and unity. That's fourth dimension. That's what we're seeing now. Fifth dimensional frequency, or when we're moving into what we're creating, the new golden age of harmony, is we are in harmony with one another. We help, we heal, we uplift, we collaborate. We're actually living in oneness. There's no more war. There's no more hating. There's no more separation. There's no more racism and sex. It's ridiculous. There's no more violence. Doesn't mean people won't make mistakes. There won't be the extremes of what we see will no longer exist. And when we truly are in a fifth dimensional planet, and we've reached the fifth dimension, and we are creating the new golden age of harmony, that's how you know we're there. Because that's what you're going to see. No more war, no more hate, no more extremes. It'll be more balanced because we will be living in, to some degree, we'll be reaching and attaining levels of oneness with each other.
So in the golden age of harmony, it's not that it's just like pure light. It's just that things are more balanced.
Yeah.
The darkness still exists, but instead of it being kind of the driving force or as you said, so extreme and intense, it's maybe there, but it's a lot more balanced. Is this something that we've been before, or is this a new journey for the Earth?
I mean, there have been civilizations that have been fifth dimensional civilizations, very awakened, very enlightened civilizations. Absolutely.
Mm,
There
mm.
absolutely have been. Hmm.
Have they always collapsed because we were still 3D? And is that why now the Earth is raising its vibration so that it can hold
It's beautiful,
and
beautiful
sustain?
insight. That is one of the reasons, yes.
Mm.
And one of the reasons is because in human form, we go through that forgetfulness, the veils of forgetfulness.
Mhm.
We go through the illusion of separation.
Mm.
And so what happens over time in some of those civilizations that have collapsed is they allowed themselves to go too deeply into experiencing what separation is. And when you do that, think about oneness versus separation. So what we've lived in the last centuries, the last 10,000 years, was an age of separation.
Mm.
And we've learned what comes with that. What does that mean? Well, there's your rape, there's your
Mhm.
violence, there's your torture, there's your murdering, there's your wars. You see it?
Mhm.
So that's those are the consequences of living in such extreme forms of separation.
Mm.
We've screwed up as humanity in the illusion of separation. We actually went so deep into the illusion of that we believed we were separate from each other.
Yeah.
See the difference? I can go experience what it is. Let's say you go to a palace, you visit a palace, and you're like, I am visiting a palace. I'm going to sit on this throne and experience what it's like to be a queen. And then suddenly you start to believe you are the queen. Instead of it just being, I'm a tourist for a day. I'm going through the palace. I'm pretending I'm a queen. I'm going to sit on the throne. I'm going to put the crown on. Isn't this fun? This is such a fun game to play. I'm going to be queen today. And then I start to let it get to my ego takes over. Well, I am the ruler. Do as I say. And then other programs start to be created because we are divine, powerful creator beings. So we start creating programs of, I'm going to dominate. I'm going to control. You see, it's all energy. I'm now creating those experiences. I'm manifesting those experiences because we're separate, because I'm superior. I now believe I'm superior because we're separate. Because I believe we're separate, I believe I'm superior to you. Do you see it? And this is what we manifest and create as a humanity. And then we live it out. So it's hilarious to me that people say, let's learn how to manifest. I'm like, Jesus Christ, learn how to stop what you're fucking manifesting. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the way that you can get lost in suffering, where something painful will happen, and then you go into you're really experiencing the pain, and then that pain gets kind of like translated into suffering, which is then a program that you've then downloaded, and then you're stuck in that, and you're getting lost completely in the separation of the program that you're experiencing.
You've got it. The program takes over, and now I'm clinically depressed.
Right. Yeah. And then you somewhat get, you almost fall in love with that program, and that's your identity. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's brilliant, because it becomes your identity. You allow things to label you. That's my identity now. And if I don't have my identity, I don't have anything. And that's why we grip and white knuckle onto the programs that we run, even though they're really painful and they're filled with suffering.
And that's all work of the ego, right? That's kind of like what it does.
Yeah.
I've been noticing within me a lot of fears that have been coming up that are very familiar, and it has very much to do with the fears of this world, whether it's the lack, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? How do I do this? How do I do that? And to be in a place where you can truly observe that and know that that doesn't need to be something that needs to live within you. That in itself, when the fear comes up and I drop into my heart, and I really imagine myself alchemizing, like I really, with my hands, almost like there's like this light. And when you drop into the heart energy, it obliterates it.
Yeah.
Because how can you even compare love to fear?
Yeah.
And the moment they're side by side, fear has no chance.
Fear has no chance.
And
That's
that,
dropping the ice cube into the boiling water.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then that moment of, oh my God, I'm doing this. This
Mhm.
is my power.
Yes.
Then what else can I alchemize?
You got it. You got it. And that's being an infinite being in remembrance of who she truly is. I can alchemize this fear that was created. I can alchemize this, and I can just be in love. And then I can allow the human part of me to be guided by that. And that requires that openness, that receptiveness that is the sacred feminine energy to be in that.
Because fear drives so many of us instead of heart. Oof.
So the whole process obviously is a process of alchemy in order to get to this golden age.
Yep.
And I guess it's just down to us as humans to see how long that takes. I know you've mentioned before, like there's the 20-year timeline. Is that just to shift from 3 to 5, or is that kind of when the golden age is supposed to start, or what downloads have you had around like the timeline for all of this?
Yeah, that timeline is a 20-year period for planet Earth herself to transform, to vibrate, ascend from third dimensional being, because she's a third dimensional being, to a fifth dimensional being, which means everything that lives on planet Earth, that lives on this being that she harbors, has to be shaken up. Shaken. Get like fleas on a dog. Like we're like fleas on a dog to Mother Earth with how we function, right? So we have to transform ourselves. So Mother Earth will be fifth dimensional by no later than 2032.
Yeah.
The more we awaken, we can speed up that process. Okay. The rest of humanity, if they are not functioning and vibrating yet at a fifth dimensional frequency, because we all have free will choice, they will create havoc and suffer the most, because you can't function on a fifth dimensional planet as a third dimensional being. So what you'll see at that point, you might even see things get worse. You might see, she's like, yes, I'm going to take care of that. Exactly going to happen. But that literally is, you're going to hear the barking dog. Like you're going to hear, things may possibly get louder and more extreme in acute phases in order to go in and wipe out the rest of the darkness, the evil, the third dimensional paradigm. So, time will tell. There's a lot of variables to this. So time will tell.
Yeah. It's really exciting and beautiful, and to be a part of it is, sometimes I talk to my soul, I'm like, this was a cool one for sure to be a part of this, and to know that we do it by tapping into heart is just, the answer is love, and always. And it's amazing. Anything you would love to tell the listeners at home, Rachel, because there's so many things in the pipeline, so many beautiful things, but anything you want to say to them?
Just that you are not alone. This is a challenging lifetime to be alive on this planet, and we're all in this together. Oneness is the only thing that is actually real. So remember that when you're going through your challenges, that you are loved, but not by anything outside of you. It comes from inside of you. You're the source of your own love. You remember that. It makes it easier to love everything and everyone along their journey, no matter where they're at.
Yes. Beautiful. mastersofselfuniversity.com. That's where you can check out everything and work with our amazing certified coaches. Rachel, thank you always for your time.
Thank you.
Yes. Subscribe, leave a rating, share this around. And till next time, we will see you guys then. Bye.
Bye, everybody.